we can go ahead and begin. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are you?
We're pretty good. We're pretty good. So, Werewolves Within. Trish and Pete, the crazy power couple.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, yeah, the movie was very interesting to me because I didn't realize it was based on a game adaptation that came out like 2016. It's kind of like a horror kind of clue game. So I kind of had to do a little research on the game itself. And then I was kind of like, okay, let's see what this movie is about. And then the movie kind of just surprised me with how comedic, yet dark, yet all over the place it was. It reminded me of, I don't know if you guys seen the film with Rob Schneider called The Animal. I don't know if either one of you guys have seen that, but
no, but I will.
It took luxuries from like, who is the monster, who is whatever.
Okay.
But as far as you guys as characters, you guys are two of the most interesting characters, to be quite honest with you. As crazy as you guys were in the scenes. But as far as their approach to the characters and when you guys were pitched who these characters were, how do you guys take to them? How did you guys make them your own in this crazy mixed up town?
I would say, like, I feel like I mean, I grew up in not in a Vermont town, but I feel like I kind of knew these people. I was like, oh, I know who this lady is. And,
Yeah.
And I really enjoy portraying people who I wouldn't want to probably spend 10 minutes with, you know?
Yeah.
And like, she's sort of a combo platter of, I had taken up knitting in the last few years, and I joined a lot of, like, I have a knitting group in the little town where I live now, and there are some really great characters. But really, actually, those women I really adore and love spending time with. But so I did like sort of a combo platter between the two.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Love Trish. Singular. Yeah, likewise. I grew up in Ohio, and I feel like I know this guy. I'm probably even related to different versions of this guy. But it's interesting. Yeah, playing someone who there are certain elements to Pete that like are sleazy or unlikable.
Yeah.
And how to have fun with that, you know, and how to make him, if not likable, at least like fun, so you can laugh at him, is always a challenge. I probably disagree with 99% of what Pete thinks, but you know, I had to embody him, and Pete's having a blast. He's getting drunk and hitting on ladies, and yeah, I think, you know, we all had to like take a leap and play some people who were kind of grotesque at times, and
Yeah.
find the werewolf within.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess even going back to that, as far as like, you know, movies like Clue or even like the recent Knives Out, like the whodunit of the seriousness of the situation, you know, did you guys like gravitate to that kind of story anyway? And did you guys do any research on the actual game ahead of time as well?
I played versions of this game. I think it was called Mafia, where it's like everybody shuts their eyes and you open your eyes and one of the townspeople is dead. And people just start accusing each other and you have to make a case for it. And the you know, the game is you try to like have the townspeople figure out who the killer is. But the problem is that in trying to figure out who the killer is, you're throwing each other under the bus. Because the killer is among you and they're gonna sell you out too and get other people on your side. So I just thought that Mishna Wolff's script kind of was the most animated, hilarious, and yet like without giving, I never knew until I finished the script who did, you know, so who does what really. I shouldn't say, you know, much more about that, but it was, I feel like the whole time like, oh, you know, so that's, it's hard to keep that suspense, you know.
Yeah, it's a great adaptation of a game, because I think for people who know the game, there are little Easter eggs hidden in it, but you don't have to have any association or preconception or knowledge of the game to get into the movie, because I think the game and the movie tap into this sort of, you know, thing that's in all of us, this mob mentality that can happen when your own personal interests are threatened and accusations are being thrown around. It's actually this really interesting psychological thing that, you know, like how we all leap to accuse each other of things.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that concept is really interesting part of the story, because I really didn't know. I really had no idea until the very end. I was kind of like, oh, it's got to be this person. Like, wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Right. But the one thing that I did want to bring up is, like, from the beginning of it, it's kind of like, you know, you kind of have the character Finn. He's just like trying to be a man, trying to man up, and he's yelling. And I was kind of like, he's kind of weird, you know, but then I get to the town and everybody else is just insane.
Way more weird.
Yeah, really weird. And I come from a small town myself. So it's kind of like, I was like, I kind of like these people. But what I realized is that this started to get very dark. And I was like, okay, there's some language there. Oh, wow, somebody just got maimed. And so this got really dark really quick and very gory. And so some of the most violent scenes encompass both of you guys. And so as far as those gory scenes and I guess, you know, the effects and stuff like that, how was that? Like, as far as just how bloody it got and how violent it got, how was it you guys as actors to go down that road?
It's interesting because it's you know, the movie looks fantastic, but it really felt like an indie film in all the ways when we were making it. So I don't remember, like, you know, I think a lot of the effects and stunts that we had to do, or what I remember, felt kind of like, in the best sense, like homemade. Like when you're like a kid, like trying to put on, like, I just remember, like, you know, we were trying to figure out ways to, like, make it look like you're being, like, pulled off screen or something. And it didn't feel like a big Hollywood movie. It felt very homegrown in that sense.
Natural. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't often do gory movies. So this was an incredible delight for me. It was because I got to participate without being actually murdered. I mean, I'm not giving away anything in the film. I mean, as an actor, nobody bludgeoned me to death or murdered me, and yet got to hang out with a lot of blood and a lot of murderers.
Yeah, you guys both seem like y'all had so much fun with both of the characters, as well as the cast. Like, you guys kind of felt like a family, like a misguided, untrustworthy family. But I guess my final question was, what was the most difficult part of these characters or this story or this experience for you guys?
Not laughing and ruining the take was my biggest problem. We would just be doing something, and then George Basil would do something that would just undo me completely, and we had to, like, just, you know, trying to not, or Hervé or Sarah, you know, everybody just, or Sam would just do something, and I'd be like, don't laugh, please don't, because the takes were really long, because it was like a choreography. It was like a play, you know. I mean, it was just you couldn't, if you interrupted the take, it's not like they were cutting to a bunch of different people. It's not like there was a lot of coverage. So it was just a oneer. It was just a one-shot long take of something. So it would just mean we had to, like, go back and do it again. And so for me, I would just be like biting my inside of my cheek, trying not to laugh. Because there was some improv, you know, you get that many funny people in a room together, they're going to unleash.
Absolutely.
Hilarity.
Yeah, same for me. And also feeling like I wasn't going to fanboy out on everybody. Like, I mean, it was just so intimidating in such a great way, but just feeling like, am I funny enough and smart enough and fast enough to hang with these geniuses?
And the answer is a resounding, are you kidding me? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Michael, no, Michael is killing us the most, maybe.
Yeah, that is all from me. You guys did great. Thank you so much for your time, and look to see what you guys got coming next.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Are we really in a Mexican standoff right now?
Baby, don't say Mexican. Just stand up.